Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creativity Worth Expressing. I'm your host, Ryan Anthony Hernandez, and today I'm with special guest, Kathryn Holeton. You told me that you are a character designer. Can you share with us a bit about the work that you put into this?
No problem. So I like to call myself a character designer because that I have found that is the simplest way to describe brand design. And what brand design is, it's basically making a company, more or less. You start with your business plan, your mission, your goals, your purpose, why you're wanting to help people, how you're going to help people, what sets you apart, all of that. And then the other part of the brand is, of course, the visual aspects that everyone knows, the logo, the website, the colors, the typography, the pretty frilly stuff. But for the reason why I call myself a character designer is because when I go through and explain all of that, I most of the time I get the deer in headlights look. They're like, "What the heck are you talking about? You're smoking something." It's much easier to describe it as a character designer, because the way I describe it is you start with your character sheet. You have your stats you got to fill out, like your purpose and your mission and all that not so fun nitty gritty jazz, like a D&D 5e character sheet, if you've ever seen one. I still need help filling mine out on occasion. And then I do the actual outfit part of your character. I do all the clothing and the pretties and the frillies and the sparklies.
So you're very busy, very active, and it looks like you need a variety of skills to engage in this kind of work. Like you need to know, of course, graphic design, the types of font that you're going to use, the color, and also a bit of fashion to make things look nice. What kind of people do you target to help as a character designer?
So I primarily work with musicians. I also do other writers on the side, but my target audience is musicians or are musicians.
Now, do you have a favorite genre, or is it just anybody who comes to you?
First, I have a favorite genre for listening to music. In terms of people coming to me for to work with me, I'm pretty open to work with whoever, but I do not want to work with anyone who is promoting the sale of drugs or abuse or anything like that's not good.
Okay, so you have a bit
Like,
of a line.
yeah, I am not very supportive of abuse, drug abuse, animal abuse. I don't want any of those kind of topics talked about unless they are like being called attention to, like how Shinedown did in the album Sound of Madness, where he was calling out that side of life in the albums.
Mhm. Like a kind of like a bringing awareness to it instead of glorifying it.
Yeah, I don't want it. I'm not going to support glorification of any of that, but if it's bringing attention to it and trying to bring more awareness to it and trying to help people get out of it, sort of, so to speak, I support more of that.
Where did you first encounter your love for graphics and for this form of creativity? Was there something that like kind of drew you to this?
Well, for graphics, on a slight tangent, I had been trying to learn how to draw since elementary school, but it never clicked. And then I watched an artist friend of mine draw in middle school, and then I taught myself how to draw after that. So that's how that started. For being drawn to brand design, I actually started out in the music industry my own self as a musician or a trying to be musician. I'm really good with lyrics, but I never got the confidence up to actually put my voice on there and sing.
Okay.
Uh, I, I'm always I'm more confident as a writer than a speaker most of the time,
Okay.
or a singer for that matter. I just get too super shaky at times.
Mhm.
I'm better about it now, but so I mainly helped on the songwriting end of collaborations. So I did helped with songwriting, production, and lyrical writing, but someone else always sung it. I was okay.
Yes.
But I found as I was working with other people that I was also helping them design their brand and their website and all of helping them set themselves up for future stuff. And I was like, oh, well, I seem to have a pretty big knack for this. I'm gonna just transition to that.
It took multiple steps. It wasn't just one day you just woke up and said, "Hey, I want to be a brand designer," or
No, it was a process to get to where I am.
okay. So when it comes to your writing, because let's start with your love for music, because that's where I think a lot of it starts here with your love for music. You also writing the lyrics. Did you have any inspirational, any people that you looked up to when it came to you writing your own songs?
So I the band Shinedown is what I like to call my muse. I love all of their music. I am a hardcore diehard fan, or at least I was when Attention came out. That is by far one of their best albums. No one can tell me otherwise. That album was actually a turning point for me because for a while I struggled to write poetry. I couldn't even count syllables. But when that album came out, it was so monumental and inspirational to me that I actually sat down and taught myself how to write poetry, which then transitioned into lyrics because they're basically the same thing, just set up differently.
Did you also accompany it with instruments, or was it all just you doing it a cappella? How was that?
Mostly just did the writing and focused on syllable count. Sometimes I would sing it or hum it, but it's more or less just stayed as a recording on my phone or for future collaborations. Because
So
the only instrument I knew how to play was flute and piccolo, which was not
okay,
rock and roll in any way.
no. How was it in the beginning when you started promoting yourself as a character brand designer?
Well, when I first started promoting myself as a brand designer, it's like I said, I got the deer in headlights look from all the musicians. They're like, that sounds really technical. What the heck are you even talking about? The character designer thing is actually a recent transition, but I've already been getting a lot of good responses on it. They're like, dude, that sounds great. We need some of that.
So like do people also like confuse your work as like a promoter or like as an are you like called like an agent or are you all the above?
Sometimes I got confused mainly as a marketer, which
Mm.
yeah, marketing is part of what I do, but I focus on the backbone of who someone is so that they can then market themselves. I myself am not that great at marketing, at least I don't think I am. My social media numbers aren't that high, but I'm also kind of going away from social media because of all the current craziness going on over there.
Yes. I see you have a website. I actually was on it earlier today just to get a quick, refresher before we started. And there was something that I read there. I wrote it down. It said, and it's a quote by somebody. I didn't check who it was, but it says 87.6% of 1.3 million musicians remained uncovered or undiscovered last year. So that's quite a lot of musicians who are really working their butts off and sadly are not yet getting the attention or getting discovered. So I wanted to ask you when you see those numbers of musicians who are undiscovered and who are working, how important do you see your work to be?
I see it very as being very important because the reason why those musicians went undiscovered is because they I'm not gonna this is just a general statement. I don't know that many
Mhm.
musicians, but generally speaking, they remained undiscovered because they possibly I mean there's any number of factors, but a big factor is they did not have a solid way of marketing themselves or a brand setup or a character setup in order to market themselves. Because what a lot of beginning musicians do, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they make music and then release it without a clear plan or strategy. And when you're starting out, it can work for a little while, but if you want to see like further growth, and if you really want to make a career in the music industry, you have to approach it with more strategy. Because at the end of the day, the music industry is a business. So you have
Mhm.
if you want to make it your career, you have to approach it as opening and running a small or future big business.
So you are basically helping these musicians, I guess, find a foundation to help them in this business, I would say. Or am I correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm helping them build their foundations for their business so that they can then be more strategic about how they market themselves, go for collaborations or other opportunities.
What would you say that you're most passionate about?
I just love helping people and seeing their music and their careers take off. It's very exciting to see someone become a fan of while you're working with it take off, and then you get to count down for more of their new music to come out. Because I'm a new music junkie. I get bored easily of music. Every 2 weeks, I have to find something new.
Okay. Do you have like a Spotify playlist that you listen to, or is it Apple or whatever?
So I'm a YouTube diehard. I despise Spotify because I can't pay the premium, and I do not like listening to the ads in the middle of a song. Like, excuse me, that is sacrilege. I don't got time for that. If I'm listening to music, I'm working hard on something. Don't give me a dang ad in the middle. That makes me want to throw my computer out the window
Yes.
and my soul with it. But I have a YouTube playlist I make and listen to on my personal YouTube because I also have a professional YouTube account.
And what would you say are your top bands on your personal YouTube playlist?
Well, currently I've been really into Asian music. So I'm listening to Lexi Liu, Real or Reol, however she goes by. Stray Kids. There's this one called Alexa. I think Alexa is Mongolian. I've been I've been on the other end of the spectrum kind of stuff at the moment. I also listen to some electronic stuff. I bounce between electronic and rock,
Okay.
sometimes both, but most of the time it's one or the other, and I bounce all the time. Although the Architects just dropped a new song last week and it's killer, it's great. I can't wait for the new album to come out.
So you're very open when it comes to the music content that you consume, which is great. Because if someone's going to be coming to you, it's great to know that you have a huge love for music, no matter what country it comes from. So I think that's great to know that if people want to approach you, that you're very approachable and that you have a true, authentic, just love for music. Now, let me ask you this. Are you drawn more to the sound of a song, of music, or to the lyrics?
I think that comes down to based on my mood. I think recently I've just gotten bored with English music, so I switched to Asian music because I don't know a single Asian language to save my soul, but it sounds cool, so I listen to it anyway. I read the captions of the songs and that are translated, and honestly, I'm kind of shocked sometimes because the music is so pop and funky and it's like upbeat, but then I'm reading the lyrics is like, oh, this is surprisingly dark. This is darker than I thought. This is a this is a left field kind of thing. I like it even better.
I was checking out your website, and it appears that there are, I believe I saw some packages. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Uh, can you explain to the audience or to the musicians out there who might be interested in maybe working with you what these packages are?
So the packages on my site are for varying aspects of what I offer. The packages I offer, I have like some retainer ones for returning clients, which are at the bottom of the page, but then I have like entry level ones, like the cheapest pack is like just a full on setup of setting your character up for your music to start taking off and stuff.
So do you require your clients to come see you or wherever you are, or do you go see your clients, or is it all done just off of the internet?
So I'm pretty easy to work with, or I try to be as easy to work with. So if most of the clients I have worked with have been all remote. But if you happen to live near me and it's not too bad of a drive, I don't mind meeting in person. But remote, in person, we don't even have to meet at all. We can just talk over email and send screenshots. Whatever is easiest, and works for them will more than likely work for me as long as it's not audio based because I stutter a little bit in my free time.
And what would you say has been the biggest challenge that you have overcome when it comes to you being uh, a designer? What's the word again? Damn.
Character,
A character designer?
yeah, character brand.
Okay,
And
let me start that over
you're
again.
good.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you have overcome as a character brand designer?
Honestly, I think I can say this for all business owners. It's trying to get visibility to your work and reaching people in an authentic way that uh, best explains how best explains what you do. I mean, everyone struggled with that on social media. It That would be one of the biggest challenges in terms of my business. What was your question again?
Like
my
what what are the some of the biggest challenges that you have overcome as a character brand designer?
Yeah, definitely the marketing part. And I would also say setting up systems. The systems has been sort of challenging because you never, when you start something, whether it be a musical project or whatever, you never think about the system of how things work until you've started doing it for a while and you're like, this isn't working the way it should be. Now I have to figure out how a better way to do this.
So as you're doing all of this work, do you have like a favorite snack or a favorite drink to get you in the mindset of let's go, let's do this?
So I am not a drug addict, but I am kind of a coffee addict. It was really bad a while ago, like 3 years ago. I used to drink 12 cups of coffee a day.
Dang, were they all decaf or were they all full on?
They were all caffeinated.
Oh, damn.
It's not so bad now. I have put a strong limit on myself of no more than five a day. More often than not, it is two a day.
Okay.
So limits. I have put limits on myself, and I am sleeping better. So plus size.
Good, good, good. So my next question is, since you are in this industry, do you get perks?
I think the best perk is getting to meet cool musicians.
Okay. Do you have any favorite musicians that you've met?
Pazzo and the Dead Cassettes are pretty cool. There's also this one band that's native to Knoxville. I haven't worked with them yet, but I actually play Magic the Gathering with them every Friday, and I didn't know they were in a band until 2 weeks ago. But
Oh,
they're a death
cool.
metal band called Elseetos, Elseetoss,
Okay. So
and
it's
they've
cool.
been gigging in their they've been gigging here in Knoxville, and they are a black metal band, and they
Okay,
have
cool.
one or two albums out right now, and they're pretty good. I'd recommend.
Okay, my next question for you is, do you have a favorite place to go while you're working? Like a favorite coffee shop, a favorite restaurant, a favorite park, anything like that?
So I go wherever there's internet because, believe it or not, I do not have internet at home. So everything that's online has been done without any internet at home. I've had to go places to use internet. So I don't really have a strong preference. However, recently I discovered my local library finally, after all these years, got internet. So I've been hardcore loving the library.
Okay.
I am totally turning into Hermione Granger now. That is going to be my designated life. Library life or nothing. I also like to go to coffee shops because coffee, I mean, you can't argue with coffee. as previously stated, I am a coffee addict. So if
That's
there's
right.
coffee to
That's
be
right.
had, I will go to a coffee shop with internet.
So, my next question is: I know you do a lot of work, remote, but you're in currently you are somewhere in Tennessee, correct?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm in
Uh,
Knoxville.
Knoxville, Tennessee. What is the music vibe like there in the city?
The music vibe is very kind of geared toward rock and roll, some country. It's really diverse, surprisingly. We don't have in downtown Knoxville, they do have gigs on occasion, but in shows, I should say, the music scene in downtown Knoxville is not as big as it is in Nashville. Because in Nashville, you have blocks upon blocks upon blocks of gigs going on, and there's always music playing everywhere. In downtown Knoxville, they do have gigs playing or music playing throughout the week, but it's not like as rambunctious. Of course, it also depends on the time of year because downtown Knoxville is just down the street from UT.
Who are some upcoming artists that you suggest we keep an eye out for?
So there's a few I have worked with that I definitely think should be kept an eye on. Pazzo is a alternative nostalgic rock band in Chicago, and they just released their EP Cricket Chair, and it's got some bangers on it. And they're
Okay.
actually working on getting ready to release another EP, or they just released one. I have to play some catch up here because I kind of went uh, internet silent when I was working on the website because I had to get it done and it had a lot of work to do. So gotta play some internet catch up now. But Hazo's a good one. The Dead Cassettes are also very cool. They are also an alternative rock band. They're based in Northern California and they've been making some waves in there. Another one is Kelly Maxwell. She does alternative and sort of acoustic style. Her voice is so pretty. I highly recommend checking her out. She's
Okay.
great. And actually, one of my uh, music producer friends did the mix and master on her song Better on My Own.
Why is creativity important for you?
Creativity is how I keep my sanity because, I mean, that's how you express yourself and just have connect. That's how you connect with people. And I've connected through just so many really cool people through my creativity.
Thank you so much, Kathryn Holeton, for being here on Creativity Worth Expressing. Now, for those who are in the audience who are thinking, damn, I would love to work with Kathryn, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And also schedule a free 30-minute, no obligation at all strategy session with me by going to my website at kathrynholton.com.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Kathryn, for being here on the podcast, Creativity Worth Expressing. And to everyone who has listened to this podcast, or if you watched it on Spotify video or YouTube or anywhere else, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please share this episode so that other people can also discover the work of our guest today, Kathryn Holeton. Thank you so much.